Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Club. After a brief respite and a little bit of a summer vacay, we're all here except for Pallavi, who's still on the way, and she will be here shortly. Of course, AIM is here. Professor's here, back from Ladakh, I assume, because he's
For
looking quite
Pallavi, who's still
relieved.
on the way,
So that's
and
a good
she will be here
thing.
shortly. Of course,
And
AIM is
Suhail couldn't join
वो
us today
echoing.
because.
अरे वो गाजियाबाद का वो यमुना नाला था. झूठ क्यों बोलती है इतना ज्यादा?
Okay, let's start. Yeah, it's already been 5-6 minutes now, so let's start with the opposition unity or disunity. And Pallavi, let's go straight to you. What's the gupshup right now in Lutyens Delhi about opposition unity?
So the big news which just broke, I think, an hour back, was Congress agreeing to support AAP on the ordinance
On the
issue
ordinance.
inside Parliament. But I think it's just the beginning of a problem because first of all, Congress doesn't trust AAP, and AAP will still do choo-choo about something. But I think internally within the Congress, there's going to be a problem because they didn't want to come on record, but a couple of Congress leaders from Punjab and Delhi, and you know who they are. They say we don't know what to say. हमारा तो career ही खत्म हो गया, take off भी नहीं हुआ. So they are obviously very upset. But then Sonia Gandhi tried her 2004 formula, which I keep on talking about, that little compromises we'll have to make for the larger goal of trying to defeat the BJP. But I don't think, I'm very cynical about this idea of opposition unity because, see, I think the Congress was also, in a sense, pressurized and arm twisted and also asked to prove itself that, it is actually in favor of opposition unity and therefore they agree to the AAP thing. But how long will it last? I mean, AAP at the end of the day would also want to, expand itself. The Trinamool Congress also wants to expand itself. And the voters are not a fool. I saw it in Bengal. I mean, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's entire career depends on taking on Mamata Banerjee. No, you can't be soft on her saying, micro level, we are going to attack each other. But the people are not fools, okay? So the voters will also be wondering whether it's going to be a repeat of the coalition experience. I mean, UPA also had those hiccups, no? TMC leaves, then left joins, then left leaves, then SP jumping in. And finally, you had those partners like DMK and all actually calling the shots. So I am very cynical about this whole idea of opposition unity. Kuch dino ke liye perhaps it's going to work. I don't know how long.
But what about this violence in West Bengal during the Panchayat polls where over 50 people lost their lives? Of course, this was expected. How is the Congress resonating with that? How are they reconciling with that? Rahul Gandhi famously doesn't talk of political violence ever, even in Kerala and Kannur.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has now again. But Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has been
No
raising his voice.
No one in the Congress party has vociferously condemned the violence in Bengal. I saw one statement coming in from Kharge, and that too, he never mentioned the TMC. He just said we don't want political violence. I went to Murshidabad. I was there for 2 days. I met Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. He really is fighting. And he has to fight because his political relevance also comes from that. But over there on the ground, I saw it myself. I went to one village called Rani Nagar in Murshidabad. And I saw homes after homes completely smashed, broken, and they all belong to Congress workers.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one boy, this Muslim boy, very nice young cameraman. He was taking me around these villages, showing me the places, and he only told me, Didi, my face should not come. Next day, I get this news from his reporter that, he was shot dead. So this is so terrible. And he was like, his father had contested on a panchayat ticket last time, on a Congress ticket. And they were all attacked. His house was attacked.
How old was he?
He must be 23.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's very bad on the ground there, and I can understand Adhi's political relevance even otherwise depends on attacking the Trinamool Congress. So, and I find it very angry because, you cannot differentiate between violence. I mean, I do see some of those so-called liberals and all of them going on and on about Manipur, but they're the same people who are quiet on Bengal. So that's the double standard which comes across.
No, I saw this during Kerala also when I was raising my voice for the violence there about, I don't know, 2016, around that time. And there was complete radio silence from the same human rights wallahs in Delhi and everywhere else. Professor, do you want to come in here? This opposition unity, we know you're a huge Mamta fan. how is she going to fit in? I mean, the fact that Sonia is sort of leading this whole drive from the Congress's end, is that going to make her more comfortable as opposed to Rahul Gandhi being there because the two of them don't really get along, or so it's said.
Look,
She
look
rather
at the
doesn't like.
end, at the end of the day, if opposition unity has to be managed one way or the other, it's not Rahul Gandhi, it's Sonia Gandhi that's going to do it. Okay, and given the fact that Sonia Gandhi is roughing roughshod over any attempt from any congressman to say anything about the TMC, I don't think Mamata has anything to worry about. So if opposition unity is to be managed, Sonia will manage it. Now, what kind of an opposition unity will it be? Obviously, in West Bengal, it will be one where Congress practically sacrifices everything. It's not that Congress has anything on the ground. It's okay for Pallavi to say that Odhir is really fighting on the ground. But in the 2021 elections, look at Odhir's constituencies. The Congress just vanished. The Congress vote bank just vanished. Now, there is a claim of sorts that the Congress, CPM, etc., in the recent Panchayat elections have managed to claw back. Okay, and there seems to be an increase in their vote share. But remember, the way I look at this particular Panchayat elections in West Bengal was there was a concerted effort to ensure that the BJP would come number 3. And if you look at the narrative that was building up as the results trickled in, some people say, oh, the BJP is behind the CPM. Then the BJP is behind the CPM and Congress. And after some time, these particular narratives just vanished because it turned out that the BJP was far more than all the rest of the opposition put together. Okay,
Yeah.
so certain things have been led to rest, and I'm surprised. I did not think that after 2021, the BJP or the leaders would be able to actually encourage their cadre to stand up and actually fight, given the loss of credibility. That it has happened, I think, is more of a credit to Shubhendu Adhikari than anybody else, or the innate conviction of the BJP worker in West Bengal. I cannot really attribute it to the national leadership or the local leadership per se, unless it is Shubhendu. So coming back to opposition unity in a sense will be imposed. Sonia will make all the sacrifices that are to be made for opposition unity, except for one thing. In 2004, you had a very overconfident BJP, who and an election that was had by default. This is a different BJP. Every booth will be contested, every vote will be contested for. Okay, so that is the difference. And this is a BJP that is will be on the warpath, will be very, very aggressive, and will hit the opposition wherever the vulnerabilities are. It will be a hard campaign, hard fought campaign. It will not be the gentle campaign of 2004, where one benignly suggests India is shining and the other does not, etc. It will be a hard fought campaign. So opposition unity per se may be achieved. I don't think it will count for much, because in many cases and in many states, these votes probably will not add up. In the national elections, people have a tendency to vote one way. In the state elections, they have a tendency to vote another way. I think several states where opposition unity is supposed to be such a big thing, this will be amply displayed.
Okay. Abhijit, I want to come to you since you have so many friends in the Congress on a social level. How do they feel about this opposition unity thing, and do they think it can be pulled off? Do they think Rahul Gandhi, off the record, of course, no one will say it on the record, do they think Rahul Gandhi could be the possible prime ministerial candidate face, etc., etc.?
They actually think it can be pulled off. A lot of them who were skeptical about Bharat Jodo Yatra now believe, after what Bharat Jodo Yatra they believe achieved in Karnataka. I do not believe that, because I believe it was a very localized contest between a completely unknown BJP chief minister with two extremely charismatic and popular Congress leaders. Okay, we all know for a fact that the Congress is going to retain Chhattisgarh and they're going to win Madhya Pradesh. They won Madhya Pradesh the last time. It was removed through manipulation. This time it's all been consolidated under Kamal Nath, and people seem quite fed up with Mamaji from what I can tell. So they're going to win Madhya Pradesh as well. They believe that that alone is enough to get them an additional. Now they are extrapolating, and this is where I think they're making a mistake. They're extrapolating this to the national elections and thinking that this will get them another 50 to 70 seats over what they already have. I think the lowest estimate I've heard from one of them is something like 80 seats in the next parliament. Some of them believe they can go up to 120. Now, remember these 70 odd seats. Assume it's 70 odd. Is 70 plus for Congress and 70 minus for BJP. So they believe that this then puts them into contention, and the BJP has created enough enemies that even if BJP, they're quite happy to admit that BJP will be the single largest party. Now, I think this is a lot of forward projection delusion. I don't think it translates on the ground because you have a very clear voting pattern which shows you that people who are more than happy to vote Congress or AAP in local elections vote overwhelmingly for Modi when it comes to national elections. So I don't think it's going to translate onto the national scene like that. It will definitely, prolong the demise of the Congress somewhat, but understand the Congress is going to sad demise, as it's put in Indian newspaper obituaries, informing you of the sad demise of my pet squirrel, Indian National Congress.
Pallavi, I want to ask you this. Asaduddin Owaisi was sort of raging today in the media that the opposition unity, whatever, never called TRS to it. So, what are to the party? I guess what are the dynamics going on? Why would they not call TRS? Because he's BRS now.
And Telangana is one state where, for some strange reason, the Congress party is putting in a lot of effort because they're actually convinced. I don't know how, but they're actually convinced that they can win Telangana. From the ground reports, whatever little I've got, I think it's going to be tough for the Congress party. But see, Congress situation is so bad. They were the ones who were at the center, instrumental in the announcement of Telangana. And TRS at one point of time was their ally. But today, no one gives credit to the Congress party anymore for the creation of Telangana. That way, TRS, now the BRS has gone far ahead. But having said that, the latest wizard of the Congress party, Sunil Konagalu, who's given the credit for winning Karnataka elections, he's been distracted. His team is working like with a frenzy both in Madhya Pradesh and Telangana, and that is an indication enough that they think that these two states are doable. Telangana, they actually think is doable, so they can never ever be on the same stage with the TRS. But I agree with Abhijit. This is Sonia's pitch for opposition unity. In the Patna one, she was not there, and we saw what happened. Things went wrong. The AAP created a problem with Mallikarjun Kharge. They did not take part in the opposition unity meeting, and she believes in this whole theory about let's live life and give up on immediate problems. Like she had a problem with DMK for that matter. I mean, imagine she had accused the DMK of not giving justice or catching hold of those who were responsible for her husband's assassins, right? She agreed to do business with them, and they turned out to be one of the closest allies of the Congress party. So Sonia ka anger with the Modi factor and BJP is so strong that she's ready to give up a lot of stuff except her son. So she knows her son's future will be intact only if the Congress has political relevance, one. And second, it leads to opposition unity. So she wants to do a replay of the Sonia of 2004. Now, when everything has changed. And that's why she'll never ever trust, say, a BRS or even a Jagan Mohan Reddy. But when I ask some of the leaders, they say, I don't rule out the possibility of aligning with them. If we do well, agar lage ki we are going to form a government in 2024, then there's quite possible that BRS plus Jagan Mohan Reddy will join hands with us. So that's what they're waiting for. But see, in this, a lot of work is being done by the TMC backroom, where TMC was the one who pressurized, Mamata Banerjee and all pressurized that Sonia must agree to what the AAP has been asking for, because it was important. See, this opposition meeting in Bengaluru is hosted by Congress. If AAP didn't turn up and if it was boycotted, it would be seen as, look, no one wants to come along under the leadership of the Congress party. And that's the reason why I think they decided to kind of compromise.
Mm-hmm. And just when I was going to come to Abhijit, he's gone off air to do his usual nefarious activities. Professor...
Which is plenty.
She's back. Oh, no, she's not.
No,
okay.
he's gone.
Professor, I mean, this seems to be a case of a lot of older politicians wanting to do repeat performances. Like Pallavi said, Sonia wants to repeat 2004. Sharad Pawar is saying, I'm 83, but I'm going to rebuild my party. Lalu, of course, is, just back on the stead. Let's see how long that lasts. What do you think? I mean, there's no, and Rajasthan, you've not even mentioned Rajasthan, which has sort of gone just thanda right now, but it's always the calm before the storm when it comes to political equations there. So this sort of revivalist narrative that is going on with the leaders. Do you think that's viable? Do you think it's possible that they can at this age, advanced stage, be able to achieve all of this?
Look, opposition unity in a sense can be achieved. Whether opposition unity will lead to a change in government is another matter altogether. You see, for Sonia 2004 to work, the BJP had to make a lot of mistakes. For example, they gave up a very dependable ally in the DMK for AIA-DMK, and they paid the consequence. There was no need for them to give up the DMK at all. They could have stuck around with the DMK just because Jayalalitha won the 2001 assembly elections. You decided, look, I'm basically going to go with Jayalalitha. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, you had Ramvilas Paswan asking for a few more seats in Bihar. You chose not to give it to him. He went with the Congress and you paid the consequence for that in Bihar. So, for 2004 Sonia to work, the BJP had to make a lot of mistakes. There is no sign that the BJP is making those mistakes now. There is no sign that the BJP is acting overconfident. In fact, BJP in a sense has gone on an overdrive, breaking away, chiseling away parts of opposition parties and asking them to align with the BJP itself in several important states. Secondly, as I said earlier, once the election starts, you will see a completely different BJP altogether. But remember, TMC being proactive in these opposition meets is very important. It is because the TMC also believes that no matter what happened, is very important. It is because the TMC also believes. यार YouTube को कम करो यार.
This is not me. This is Pallavi watching you on YouTube. I don't know why.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Now
she's a little obsessed.
See, it's like this. They may have won a very big victory in 2021, but I know that TMC is not very confident about 2024. They expect they expect a setback. Now, the degree of that setback, I think, is significant to very, very significant. And that is why the TMC is trying its level best to ensure that 2024 the BJP is not returned to power. Because if it is, and the BJP gets a plurality of the seats in West Bengal, things will happen in West Bengal. Things will happen in West Bengal. And they believe that the new governor is also part of an elaborate process to see certain things happen in West Bengal. Okay, so yes, opposition unity may be achieved, but this is not the BJP of 2004. This is the BJP of 2023-24, which fights every seat, which fights for every booth.
Pallavi, we'll wait for AI to come back, but just till then, I want to ask you this. The BJP has gone into overdrive, as rightly pointed out. They are trying to also build up their allies. One thing that we mentioned on a previous episode was the fact that the BJP hasn't been able to keep its friends close. So how easy or difficult is it going to be for them to draw their allies back into the fold? Or are they going to have to compromise? What are they going to do?
See, BJP is not a party. At least Modi is not a person who believes in compromise. But if you look at the political landscape, they emerge as stronger. But it was very interesting, and I completely agree with Professor on this. I'm seeing the BJP do what Sonia was doing in 2004. That no party is small. Even if they can get us 2 Lok Sabha seats, they matter. So you had that Rajbar today joining in from the Samajwadi from in Uttar Pradesh. And bit by bit, Chirag Paswan, who most have dismissed of, he's also going to be a part of the NDA meeting. And possibly the Akali Dal, the overtures that are being made and all of that. So the BJP has understood that even 2 seats, 3 seats make a lot of difference. But more importantly, I think it's also a message they want to send across that we are not arrogant. I mean, we are ready to bend a bit because beach mein this perception was also going out that BJP doesn't want allies. We don't want anyone. We don't even care about them. I think that is what like yesterday I was meeting someone from the BJP only, and he was telling me about that there were 2-3 states which were troubling us. One was Bihar, 3 states actually: Bihar, Bengal, and Maharashtra. So Maharashtra is taken care of. Bihar is almost taken care of because of Chirag Paswan, and also it's a fact that Nitish Kumar has lost his credibility. In fact, this very senior who's a part of all this coalition thing of the BJP is telling me that if Tejasvi Yadav had gone on his own instead of with Nitish Kumar, perhaps things would have been better for Tejasvi. He says, Nitish has lost credibility. We got Chirag Paswan. We have that Paras guy with us. So, and maybe there's going to be a split in the RJD for all you know. So, these are the 3 states on which the BJP is concentrating on in terms of Lok Sabha numbers. I mean, Bengal, we already see, and I completely agree with both Abhijit and Professor also, because I went to Nandigram for 2 days. And on the day of the polling, I was in Nandigram. That was the only possible area where I never saw it. And it was considered to be, I was sent there and I opted for that place because I thought there's going to be lots of violence there, because TMC versus the Congress, TMC versus the BJP. But it was absolutely peaceful. And huge voter turnout, both in the Nandigram 2, which is largely a Muslim-dominated area, which is the TMC area, and Nandigram 1, which is the Shubhendu Adhikari. And I remember when I was interviewing Shubhendu Adhikari, the first thing he was telling me, and very proudly, was, see, I ensured that there is no violence here. What was he trying to say? That if a leader wants it, they could have stopped the violence. Mamta didn't want it to be stopped. So he sent out that message. And, I know the criticism of Shubhendu Adhikari is that he largely concentrates on Nandigram and those adjoining areas. But he really has a connect on the ground. Problem for the BJP in Bengal is that they don't have anyone who matches up to the Mamta charisma. But the more Abhishek Banerjee becomes stronger and stronger, which he is within the party, and the more Mamta becomes a little bit more coy and more low-key, it helps the BJP because then they don't have to constantly, compare themselves or match up to the Mamta Banerjee factor. It's easier to compete with Abhishek Banerjee for the BJP. I mean, that's the sense I got.
Although Abhishek Banerjee is also evolving quite well. From whatever,
but he still doesn't have the Mamta charisma or magic with him,
Yeah.
He has many weak spots which the BJP feels they can easily counter. Mamta she's a woman, okay? Large number of women vote bank there. That is the factor in her favor. And Muslim, that is the factor in her favor. She's a firebrand, she's fighter and all that. So she was not there in the panchayat elections. The same Mamta Banerjee who would campaign with a fractured foot did not campaign because she said she's got a ligament tear.
She never had a fractured foot. 2 points out here.
Professor, I'm just talking for argument's sake. I mean, she was campaigning with
He knows everything about Mamta. Don't second guess him on her.
And why?
2 points. 2 points. You see, with respect to BJP becoming arrogant about its partners, etc., by the way, it's the partners that have betrayed the BJP than the other way around. For example, in 2014-15 elections, the Shiv Sena decided to be foolish. They did not agree to the BJP's demand for a few more seats. They contested elections. They came second. You can't blame the BJP for that. And in 2019, they betrayed the BJP. In Akali Dal, they thought, given the aftermath of the farmers' agitation, they would be better off without the BJP than with the BJP. Again, they were the ones who betrayed the BJP. And with Nitish Kumar, this has been going on for a long time, ever since Nitish Kumar was given prime ministerial ambitions by people in the BJP themselves. Okay, so the betrayal of the BJP has been by its partners. It's not the BJP trying to take them over. But if you're fighting separately, then the BJP can hardly be faulted to go all out. They went all out and they fared better than their partners. Number one. Number two, when it comes to West Bengal, you see, I think we are concentrating too much on Mamata because at the end of the day, our opinions about Bengal and Bengal politics are unduly influenced by what happens in Kolkata or the presidency area of Kolkata. If the BJP is to do something in West Bengal, it will have to do something akin to what Himanta Biswa Sharma has done in Assam. It has to forget about the presidency area of Kolkata ensure, assume that that area is lost to Mamata and concentrate on the rest. This Mamata and her, whatever she does, resonates very much in this area, and it's a big area when it comes to number of seats. But when it comes to the rest of Bengal, North Bengal, Central Bengal, and South Bengal, you see, they have to be fought on their own local issues, and you have to fight it very, very hard. And you have to take a leaf from Himanta Biswa Sharma's campaign book, as in Assam. Unless you do that, I'm not too sure what the local BJP will be able to do in West Bengal.
It's also been the seasons of splits and breakups, and there are rumors going around that there are going to be more breakups and splits. Abhijit, seeing that you move with this sort of underbelly of the political world, what are you hearing in terms of splits that are possible or coming?
I don't move with the underbelly. That's the whole problem. I only get a top.
You do.
No, I don't. See, so I got a very top kind of view. I don't get the bottom view that much. But, let me just counter what the professor said. Remember, two people in the 2019 elections came second. One was Nitish Kumar, the other was Shiv Sena. Why was the BJP willing to allow Nitish Kumar to become chief minister, but not Shiv Sena, which was a long tested ally, as opposed to Nitish Kumar, who was always a very perfidious ally? So I don't think it's very fair to, say, किस बंदे को पद का लालच नहीं होगा? The BJP is not here to win elections and hand it over to do renunciation or whatever. So I think this thing with Shiv Sena was something the BJP brought on itself, especially contrasted. I think the contrast was particularly bad with the way they treated Nitish Kumar, who had not been as loyal to the BJP as Shiv Sena had. But I can tell you one thing from what I'm hearing. A lot of my BJP friends tell me that ye chal raha hai, wo chal raha hai, isko split karenge, wo split karenge. You never know if it is wishful thinking or actually real on the ground.
Absolutely. And Pallavi, this split, I just wanted to come to you on this also, because do you see more splits happening in the run up to 2024? I definitely see them happening post 2024 general election results, because I do believe Modi will return to power in 2024, and I see more splits happening then as opposed to leading up.
Most will happen post, but I think Bihar is one state we really need to watch out for. As I told you, with this senior person who told me yesterday that three of the states we've been working on: Maharashtra, Bengal, and Bihar. Maharashtra sorted, Bengal sorted, up Bihar ke bari. That was a hint I was given. So I think we can expect some kind of a split taking place in Bihar, in RJD itself, and JDU possibly could crumble further. The point is that don't let's blame the BJP for it. I mean, many of them really want to go, because Bihar is going to be very difficult now for, say, an RJD plus JDU to come back. The credibility factor is one thing, and somehow they've lost grip on it. So maybe they want to give a chance to BJP. I think the BJP is working both at the state level and at the national level, Lok Sabha and assembly elections. I would see that happening in Bihar. That's one state. What else is left? Telangana. South, thoda sa problem hai for the BJP. Don't think anyone would want to join the BJP knowing that South is a soft spot for the BJP. But I would watch out for Bihar. That's going to be one interest. Things suddenly happen. I mean, who would have thought? See, I'm telling you, Maharashtra story is not over. So what I was told is very interesting. What I was told was by a person who was involved in this whole Maharashtra story, the person I met yesterday. So that person told me that our initial plan was, and this was corroborated by someone else a couple of weeks back when we were talking about cabinet reshuffle. They said, I said, why are they waiting for the cabinet reshuffle? They said, we are waiting for the NCP. I said, why will NCP? वो क्यों? They said, Praful Patel plus Supriya Sule. I said, वो तो कभी नहीं होगा. So what happened was Praful Patel, not Supriya Sule. So what I was told yesterday was that the game plan and a commitment was given. Barring Jayant Patil, everything was sorted out. So Pawar was kept in the loop. Everyone was kept in the loop. Last minute, mein, Supriya Sule is little soft on the Congress because she's got friends there. And when everyone started calling, Rahul Gandhi started calling, and I think Lalu called and all of that, then Pawar and his daughter got very shaky. And that's when they opted out. So I think that, and today, for example, these all Ajit Pawar and Chhagan Bhujbal, Praful Patel, all of them went to meet Sharad Pawar. And if you listen to Praful Patel's soundbite, he said, we never asked for any meeting, we just decided to go there. Ajit Pawar was going to Hum Log Bhi Chale Gaye, and Pawar never said a word. But they kept on telling him that, we still think you're our father, you're our mentor, we want to and all. I don't think the Maharashtra story is over. I still think he's
What happened to her? But basically, what she's saying is that Sharad Pawar and his daughter also may move to the BJP. Abhijit, you think that's going to happen?
I don't think that's ever going to happen. Look, Supriya is just not interested in politics. She'd much rather have been doing something else. I think Pallavi will confirm this, but almost everybody who knows her tells me that she has zero interest in politics. All right. Young Pawar, nephew Pawar, on the other hand, is the one who's the real political animal out there. But Daddy Pawar does not want to give it to nephew. He's very insistent that daughter gets it. And therein lies the problem. Supriya, I don't think she's a very nice human being, but I don't think she has the killer instinct to go for this.
She's not very wily also, na? Shrewd bhi nahi hai. She's not a
She's not shrewd. She's a very straightforward kind of a very nice person, but she
have to be that.
And you have to be shrewd there. You have to be extremely shrewd. You need to be cutthroat in politics. So disinterest.
He's saying Supriya's not interested in politics.
Yeah, I won't say she's not interested, but yeah, she's not that interested. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Who doesn't want to be interested and who doesn't want to be in power? But it's also the father thing, na? Before he goes away, he wants to settle his daughter. Sabbe yahi to problem hai. Sonia wants to settle Rahul. Mamata wants to settle Abhishek. Pawar wants to settle Supriya.
Yes, Mamata wants to settle me. Thank you.
Abhishek, not Abhijit. The only thing you get from Bengal is Govind Bhog Chawal.
Yeah, but she's interesting Rajya Sabha candidates,
His friend, Saket Gokhale.
I think so. There are two points of view on Saket Gokhale. Apparently, out of the 6 seats of the TMC, 5 are safe, 1 is not.
Yes.
Now, I have half my folks telling me that all 6 will get through, including Saket. But I have lots of people in the BJP telling me, boss, we will focus. We don't have a problem with the other 5. We do have a problem with this chap. We are going to focus all our energy on seeing to it that this one chap does not get elected. Okay. I think it's a too much expenditure of energy on one little pipsqueak of zero value. I congratulate both Mamta and Abhishek for seeing value in a waste paper basket. But
no, let me tell you, this is Derek's thing. Derek is very fond. Yeah. He got Saket Gokhale into a TMC. He's the one who convinced Abhishek that if someone can stay in jail for 150 days, then he's the right leader who can take on the BJP. This is Abhishek plus Derek.
So best of luck to them. Let's see how it works out for them.
I think the only good thing the Congress has ever done in recent times is to ensure that Saket Gokhale does not get a place there. At one point of time, he was very, very close to RG's office. If you remember.
No, but RG's office was close to him. They never realized they were being blindsided, and suddenly out of the blue, he decides to join the TMC. It's not like he got kicked out of RG's or Rahul Gandhi's office. It's that he decided, suddenly Derek comes and offers him this, that you will join with Yashwant Sinha and all these senior leaders, welcome you to the party, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Best of luck. I think this is where we learn that Derek is probably a very good floor manager and communicator, but not so shrewd in his political instinct. So best of luck. If that is what Derek wants, congratulations to him. But to be fair, Mamta also made the mistake of Mahua Moitra, and I don't think she's winning her seat back. She's a one-time MP.
Professor, you want to say something because you're
Party
getting ready?
cadre is also not going to work for her. Her own party cadre in Krishnanagar is not
They
very
can't
happy with
stand
her.
her. They can't
So they
stand
will
her.
see. You win elections also through with the party workers. They are not going to be there. Even now, where panchayat elections, I never saw any of them being anywhere around her.
Yeah.
What is the issue? Because she's quite active in Parliament, at least here, or at least the media covers her quite
So
regularly here.
look, before
But
before what
she's
used to
very,
happen was before what used to happen was everybody used to go to Derek for sound bites. Today nobody goes to Derek, they only go to Mahua. Okay, so she's pissed off Derek and that entire Abhishek wing of the party. Then she was trying to play too smart by half by playing one off against the other and this and that, which the TMC does not like. Mamta doesn't appreciate it. Abhishek doesn't appreciate it. Abhishek apparently positively detests her right now. And the third thing has been that, she's been talking about things that he shouldn't be talking about. She's been raising issues that Mamta would rather she shut up about. Uh, she's been carried away by her own celebrity
Image.
or whatever it is. I mean, is there a negative version of celebrity? I mean, you have famous and notorious. She would like to believe she's famous. Most other people are uniformly, there's a uniform consensus that she's notorious. She thinks she's a celebrity, but I think the uniform consensus is she's a malabrity.
I think
and she
somebody
was
described her
constantly
as
seen
a.
with Pavan Verma and Shashi Tharoor. Also has not gone down well with the TMC because they feel that she just cozied up to the Congress a bit too much. You know, I mean not Pavan
She
Verma so
was
much,
in the
but Shashi
Congress
She
Tharoor.
was in
before.
the Congress. She was in
Yeah,
the
She was in
yeah,
the
Congress.
she was in the
Yeah.
Congress, but she left the Congress to join the TMC, na, and then you go back
Right.
and hang around all the time with Tharoor and Pavan Verma. That's not gone down well with the
Exactly.
Mamta Banerjee.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Advaita.
Yeah, Pavan Verma is no longer with the TMC, by the way.
Uh,
Yeah, he isn't.
he's gone to.
Where is he
Yeah,
gone to?
He hasn't gone anywhere as yet, as far as I
he's
He
know.
nowhere.
was he was with Nitish. Then
JDU.
he went
Yeah,
to
yeah.
huh. So I
Has he
don't
gone
know
back? No, he's not gone back to
No.
JDU. He's not gone back. He's nowhere right now. Right now, I guess he's waiting. And okay, now moving on to the
I
international.
think Pavan Verma will be welcome anywhere because he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
He is lovely
Both
and
of his wife,
intellectual
He's a nice guy, yeah.
they're very
and kind.
gracious. You can have a
Yeah.
conversation. He's never bitter. He's never sharp with his words. So
Hmm.
I've never met anyone who's had anything bad to say about him.
That's true. That's true. He's a nice man. And you're right, he probably will be welcome most places. But coming to Prime Minister's visit recently to France and then on to Abu Dhabi, what do you all make of it? Abhijit, I'm going to start with you, of course, because, defense deals were top on the agenda of this visit. So tell us a little, break it down for us. What did we manage to achieve with Prime Minister going to France?
So this was going to be my crowning glory moment talking about defense. But it turns out in the revised version of the joint communique, both the Rafale and the Scorpion have been removed from any mention. So there's now a revised document out which has dropped mention of submarines and fighter aircraft. I don't know. I'm just trying to check. That's why I went off screen because I wanted to check if the AMCA, the so-called joint engine development, was going to take place. I'll figure out and tell you, but it is what it is. So I don't think anything tangible or big has come out other than Modi getting the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor, and that is the highest French award that can be bestowed on anyone. Only two other Indians have ever been given that, and that too in the pre-independence time. I think the Maharaja of Patiala and the Maharaja of something else. Several Indians have won the Legion of Honor, but at a much lower level. There, everything is called. So it's like imagine if everything was called Padma Bhushan. Padma Bhushan first class, Padma Bhushan second class, Padma Bhushan third class, Padma Bhushan fourth class. There are many Indians who have won the Legion of Honor fourth class and third class, but Modi will only be the third person and the first person after independence to get it.
What do you think of his vibe with President Macron?
look, he has a charm with everybody, no? Tell me one person that Modi hasn't managed. I think the only person who was contemptuous of him quite openly so was
Obama.
Obama. Okay,
Trudeau?
everybody else has been very open to him, and he's been extremely, vivacious, gregarious, open. He has a certain warmth. He knows how to charm you, and that's what makes him a very good diplomat for India. He will draw you into his charm, and he will knock your socks off. So that's a very, very good thing. But you tell me, why is it special in France? He's done this with Biden, in spite of all the acrimony during that visit. He did it there. He's done it with Albanese. He's done it with and it's irrespective. You don't have to be a big leader. He's also done it with the Papua New Guinean prime minister. And I think I've narrated the story before. When Papua New Guinea opened their embassy here in 2012 or 13 or whatever, this was a country that was so not known in the foreign ministry that the foreign ministry guys sent them to Joint Secretary Africa to meet. क्यों? क्योंकि आप काले लगते हो, आप अफ्रीकन की तरह लगते हो. So they actually sent the first Papua New Guinean ambassador to the Africa division.
The High Commissioner.
The High Commissioner. Joint Secretary Africa.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Professor, what about let's talk to you about Abu Dhabi. Okay, one really good thing is, of course, this UPI payment, which is going to now be valid there. So, what does this mean? Can you break this down for us? Does this mean I can go with my phone and use Paytm?
Let me come back to. Let's go back to France. You see, I'm taken aback by Abhijit's revelation that the latest document does not carry mention of either the Rafale or Scorpion. But I think, given our trajectory of defense ties with France, I think something will materialize. I mean, otherwise you couldn't have had such a build-up to this particular meeting with something there not being in the offing. I don't know what the specifics are that has ensured that have led them to be omitted in the declaration of the final document. But I think this will happen. And let us face it, our relations with France are also predicated on both India and France striving for autonomy in where international relations are concerned. And this has happened with France ever since de Gaulle took power, and we on our own also have been striving for strategic autonomy. The France was extremely accommodating to Indian interests when we carried out the nuclear tests in 1998. So, and if you look at all the trajectory of Indo-French relations, even during the Cold War, the French leadership was extremely receptive to India. I mean, you have to read of accounts when Valéry Giscard d'Estaing came to India. He was thrilled. On a trip to Varanasi, he was basically telling people, look, I am on the Ganges. So when India is concerned, for some reason, France has this fascination for India. And among other things, that's been reflected in the trajectory of relationships with France. When it comes to the United Arab Emirates, look, the United Arab Emirates also has been striving for strategic autonomy. Not to say it's not influenced by Saudi Arabia or the Americans, but it also draws its lines. So, for example, they will go thus far but no further when it comes to the Iranians. They will go thus far but no further when it comes to the Qatari, so on and so forth, which basically suits us fine. We want to deal with those people who A, keep business above everything else, B, know where to draw those lines. The UAE, in a sense, is our outlet to a host of Middle East and North African nations, hence our FTA. It's another matter we have not been able to utilize the FTA to the extent which would have. But the fact is, we've done the right thing for going for the FTA with respect to UAE. So our relations with the UAE, and I think it's Modi's umpteenth visit to this particular place, basically underlines the degree to which the importance which we give to this particular country. Secondly, this denomination of trade, settling of accounts either in rupees or the UAE dinar. This is extremely important. You see,
Mm.
when you move away from the dollar and start talking in terms of Indian rupees, so if I pay with my imports in rupees, the tendency to use those rupees to buy Indian imports or Indian goods becomes that much stronger. Will it happen overnight? I'm not too sure. For that, India will have to do a lot of things where its production structure is concerned. But I think it is a seed for bigger things to come. And for that, I think I'm extremely hopeful and I'm happy given the trajectory of relations we have with the United Arab Emirates.
The other thing, Pallavi, I wanted to ask you was this. We're seeing, I think Prime Minister has been able to display very actively. First, he went to Egypt on the way back from the US. Now he's stopped by, you know, um, Abu Dhabi. And like Professor mentioned, multiple trips to the region. And been awarded also, given like very high, the highest civilian honors and things like that from these countries. I think, in a sense, this is also to answer a lot of that negativity swirling around his equation with Muslims.
Hmm. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think, and whether you and I were talking about this a few days back. So, the UAE leg, when he was coming back from France, this trip was something which was added the last minute. But there's a pattern over there because remember the question he was asked in America at that press conference? He mentioned the fact that we believed in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and that we all our schemes don't differentiate against anyone. It's meant equally for everyone, irrespective of the religion or caste they belong to. Second thing is there's no denying the fact that the UCC debate has become very big in our country, and the perception which is going on is that it's focusing only on the Muslim factor, Muslim women, and so on. But the Prime Minister, not just abroad, but even over here, he's been meeting. Whenever he talks about the Pasmanda Samaj, he talks about women, Muslim women. I remember he was in Rajasthan, he was in Madhya Pradesh. He spoke about the fact that there's a conservative segment who oppose triple talaq. But these women come up to me and thank me. So the UAE leg, and when he went, where did he go after America? Also, he went to one of the Middle Eastern
Egypt,
countries. I'm
Egypt,
forgetting.
Egypt,
Egypt.
Egypt.
Egypt, that's right. So when he's going to all these areas, he's sending out a message not just to the world that these countries matter to me and I'm not against one particular religion, but also back home because let's not forget many of the Muslims do have relatives UAE, Egypt, so on and so forth. So he's trying to project himself as someone who is pro-Muslim but more progressive Muslims and the backwards who've lost out because of the conservative nature as far as the Muslim Samaj goes. So in these visits, and I'm told that, he famously joked with someone. I was told this a long time back that, I'm like a typical Gujarati. So when I go to one country, मैं वो पैसे बचाना चाहता हूँ, so I go to another country which is on the way back home. So that's how I double up my trip. So he joked about this, but this may be a joke, but there's a reason why he's choosing these countries, UAE, Egypt, and I'm told like when he goes to America, I think in September to the General Assembly, he's going to again kind of combine it with some other more countries. It's going to be very, very important, very significant. Yahan pe, I know I just saw one tweet by one Congress leader making fun of the Prime Minister when he was in UAE because he's reading out from a paper or something. But he pot shots apart, he is sending his messaging very strongly across. I don't know how successful.
I have lived in the UAE and I know how the sheikhs are treated there. And frankly, seeing Sheikh Al Nahyan, I think it was him only who was pulling back the chair when the prime minister was rising from his seat, is very, very significant. It just does
Yes.
not happen. Just
But
does not
also,
happen.
but it also signifies, Advaita, also it signifies a change where the UAE royals are concerned. That
Yes.
standoffishness that was there when they all depended on oil, and in the 70s, while oil was all important, has changed. They also realize that they have to they have to come across as being, more human and more down to earth. Remember, it is the UAE officials who are warning the Europeans long before you see these recent troubles in France as to the troubles they would face unless they tackled this particular problem about political Islam. There is this viral video which was viral 5 years ago, viral again, where the UAE minister makes this point time and time again that you don't know what you're dealing with and you're going to run into severe problems. This is a new breed of politicians from the Gulf states who are you know, more down to earth, but less differential to the Europeans and the Americans. They make it very clear that, we basically have our own strategic autonomy, and we will not be held hostage to the mistakes that the Europeans and the Americans make with respect to their policies. So that, I think, is extremely important. It's a different brand of people, and we are dealing with a different brand of people in their own way. We are keeping business first. They understand this, we understand this. And so if you look at our deals, for example, you talked about the UPI. I think it's a very good thing. If we are able to close a deal with respect to the UPI stack, both with France and the United Arab Emirates, then we are able to pay in domestic currency, that is rupees, for our purchases in France and UAE. So this is something that these ministers understood. Their fathers 40 years ago wouldn't have understood it at all. But the current UPE leaders are tech savvy. After all, they've given a citizenship to an artificial person, AI person, etc. It's another matter altogether. So this is a different breed of politicians, and we are dealing with them on terms that they understand, and that is why this relation is going where it is going.
We expected to. I know AIM is very positive about MBS also. I see very often his tweets where
So,
he comments about.
there's apparently some kind of friction developing between MBS and MBZ. Emirates' expansion of it's very subcutaneous, but Emirates' expansion into India has been on hold for a while. The government's not releasing more slots. Apparently, they want to release these slots to Riyadh Air. Now, Saudi Airlines cannot serve alcohol.
Correct.
It's named after the Saudi family and it's named after the state. But Riyadh Air they're starting it up so that it can compete with all these Qatar, Etihad, Emirates, and things. And a lot of the slots are apparently being reserved for Riyadh Air. So this is a manifestation. We still don't know what the reason for the fallout there. It's not even a fallout. There's some mild competition, disagreement. It's very hard to place, but everybody's been telling me this out there. A lot of Indian observers have also been observing it. Nobody's talking about it, but there is something brewing out there. We don't know what, but there's something brewing out there.
They're also all related to each other. So, they have a lot of marriage between the families and things like that.
Not
So,
necessarily.
a lot of them, definitely.
The UAE family is not related to the Saudi family at all. There's been no intermarriage as far as I know. But it's a bit more in terms of the vibe apparently isn't there anymore. And one of the demonstrations of this was how Saudi suddenly did paltu on the Iran thing, because Iran came out of the blue. And remember, it's not Saudi that faces the brunt of Iran, it's the Emirates that has the border disputes with Iran and faces the brunt of Iran. It may be something to do with that. There's apparently been a very significant disagreement on how to go forward in Yemen, because Saudi leadership apparently hasn't been working out there. And remember, the Emirati armed forces are way ahead in terms of their training, not in terms of equipment, but in terms of training. They're way ahead of the Saudis. So apparently there's been tension out there as well. Let's see how it goes. But if I can just quickly pivot, let's notice how much our relations with the Emiratis and Saudis has changed. It's not just at the sort of leadership level. 15, 20 years back, the Emiratis used to look down on Indians. Today, they're actually celebrating Indian culture and they're very happy with Indians. They don't treat Bangladeshis and Pakistanis properly.
Oh, Pakistanis are really ill-treated there, actually.
With Indians, they're treating them pretty damn well. Right? There's that initial kind of racism because they don't know if you're Bangladeshi or Pakistani. But if you're Indian, there's suddenly a newfound respect for Indians out there. Not universally, but very significantly across. There's a lot of elite signaling about how constructive and useful Indians are to the
The
Emirates and
countries
things like
that they and generally, I mean, I think our NRIs
that.
do have a
Yeah,
good reputation.
Lulu, the
I think
gentleman
this
who
is.
owns Lulu Mall, is one of the biggest investors in India at the moment, one of the biggest supporters of Modi at the moment.
Hmm.
I think there's a reason for this. This disdain for Indians was there in Southeast Asia also, because the type of Indians who were there originally in Southeast Asia working as indentured laborers belong to the lower social classes. Come to late 90s, early 2000s, the kind of Indians who started to go there were IT workers, knowledge workers, etc. And perceptions changed. To a great extent, the manner in which the UAE has changed their economy, the structure of their economy, from one that was just dependent on oil to one that is dependent on services. Service is a large component. And the fact that Indians are the ones who basically are the managerial class that runs the service economy has also contributed to it. But there's also the other thing. When it comes to financial operations, particularly personal finances, they have found that Indian finance managers, personal account managers, are far more discreet and far more professional than Pakistani managers or Bangladeshi managers. Pakistani managers have a tendency to blab. They'll basically say, "Oh, this sheikh bought this, this, this." No, no, this is an extremely important problem. You
It
see,
is.
royal families have to
It's a
control
Punjabi
perception.
problem. It's a
Yeah,
Punjabi problem.
no, no, but the Indian Punjabis are also basically professional when it comes to managing personal accounts. So you cannot have a personal finance manager telling the rest of the bank, "Arey yaar, he's bought a $3 billion ring, etc., etc." No, this is something that Pakistanis do from time to time, and as a result, not just the Saudis, not just the Emiratis, even Pakistani businessmen do not want to hire Pakistanis. Their preference is to hire Indians. They trust Indians to be their second in command rather than Pakistanis. So I think that has been one of the changes that has taken place over the
Hmm.
years. The nature in which their economy has changed, and the role that new Indians, basically the educated Indian, has played in the transformation of their respective economies. I think that is one of the reasons for this newfound respect where Indians
Hmm.
are concerned.
Yeah, I think Abhijit's also want to go, and we've hit the 1 hour mark. So very quickly, Abhijit, just one question that came in for you about Omidyar and the fact that it is now cutting off funds to leftist sites. Is that true? One of our viewers wanted to know about that.
Well, it's speculation, but I hope you've seen that fellow Dikri's latest rant, both on Ranveer Anahabadia and then, and what was it? It was just a rant. Oh, you're never going to live up you're a rented YouTuber. You're never going to live up to the standards set by Ravish Kumar. And mind you, all of these people were absolutely quiet when Rahul Gandhi was going from podcaster to podcaster. That didn't make all those podcasters sold out. But apparently, Ranveer Allahabadia sold out because he's been given access to ministers. Okay. And today he
He's
went
quite
around
good
talking.
looking also.
Huh?
Quite good to look
Okay,
at.
Cougar.
He's much better looking than Abhinandan Sekhri. Abhinandan Sekhri looks
He's
like
like
a
30, yeah? Isn't he like 25, 30 or something? But he does
So
a lot
what,
of work.
Advaita?
But
Huh?
anyway, so
So
no,
what?
let's not divert. This is important. This fellow, did you see his entire cabal of third raters? That cross-eyed lady who sits with him, uh, uh, the one who's got eyes that go like this. I forget her name. Something's like some sounds like dung. But that lady and him, they were sitting and minimizing the Bengal violence today.
Yeah, one of our viewers has
Yeah, yeah.
written that they were
So
laughing at the Bengal
these
violence. Like,
guys are pure trash. They claim their funding comes from viewers. It does not. We know all these so-called viewer models do not work in India. Most of the funding comes from Omidyar. Okay.
hmm.
Uh, I would be careful about this Omidyar rumor that he's cutting off funds and things like that. I want to see it happen. Anyway, it isn't coming in. But apparently, from what I'm hearing from sources, that apparently News Laundry has some round tripping arrangement somewhere in Singapore or something, or Mauritius or Singapore or something like that. They had apparently declared some malicious funding and then they withdrew it from their
But did you
declaration.
see? I like the way Professor gave it back to Hartosh Bal.
I
Now
didn't see that.
Hartosh
What was
today,
it?
so
Where?
Hartosh
When?
today tweeted.
When? Ah,
Today Hartosh Bal tweeted to say that there was this Chandrayaan ke jo scientists were there, na? They were doing puja. So he says
Uh-huh.
he asked this question: was it a Hindu? Kya? What did he say? Was this a
Rocket.
Hindu? Yeah, is this a Hindu rocket? I mean, making fun of the fact that puja was done.
And
And then Professor said what he
what
had
did
to say.
professor say?
I said
I don't know.
something,
He said,
I've decided, not to, he's an attention seeking behavior chap here. So it's best basically not to tweet about him at all. It's
And
disaster.
he's a friend. He's a friend of mine. So
"Oh
Oh,
God."
the Bal is a friend of yours.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
See,
yeah, of course.
all this, I find all this contrived rage, jo hai na, this is basically to appear intellectual.
No, but he is. He's
I
very
mean,
smart. Right? He's very bright, and he's also a good journalist. I think he just. But the thing with Hartosh is he doesn't like anyone. I think it's more a question of that than him having,
no, 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 no,
anything
no, no.
else.
His
Like, this
prejudices
tweet
are
was
there.
uncalled for.
His prejudices
This
are
tweet
there.
was
This
uncalled
this
His
for.
prejudices
probably
are there.
uncalled for. Yeah.
One second. His prejudices are there. They are in a particular direction. There's no doubt about it. All this thing, he doesn't like anybody, is basically, that angry young man thing. Um, it basically serves to conceal a certain, conceal the lack of intellectualism. That's all.
Okay, bye bye. I have to
Okay.
go.
Okay,
Chalo.
on that note, while we assess, everyone needs to rush. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back. I'm sorry for the gap in our broadcast, but we all were kind of
Yeah,
busy.
Pavan, I'm at home. I'm not in the car. I'm at home. I'm at home. Everyone is asking me this question. I don't know why. I'm at
Yeah.
But
home,
this
guys.
this week I'm
I
going to
do
come
have
a
a
little.
home.
Okay, and let me know if you all want to know about my travels. And I'm a hotelier, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, please do keep
I
on
want
telling
to
us
do
blogging.
Yeah.
yeah, I want
Tell
to
us
do
how to.
different
I
stuff.
plan to go to Istanbul myself. Tell us how to save money here.
Yeah, not like a
Save
Sandeep
money.
Ghosh ka nonsense post. I don't understand what he writes. Yeah. क्या खा
I
रहा
don't
है
know why
क्या
he's
he's
still
doing.
there. I really don't know why he's still there. It's been like
So
2-3 weeks
last year
now.
I heard he was selling jute bags. अब क्या कितना jute bag? He
Jute
can't
bags
even
or
get us a
jute bags? Are you sure?
jute.
I saw this documentary on Instagrammers faking it. And are you sure Sandeep is actually there? Because it's so easy. Like you can actually take a toilet seat, turn on your TV, and put out, get a freeze frame of clouds and put the toilet seat there, hold it up, and sit in front with a glass of wine or champagne or whatever, and then just take a photograph and tweet and say you're flying first
I'm
That is
class.
the
telling
most
you,
obnoxious thing I've ever
no, no,
heard.
no. But Professor, I
Happens.
am sure that's what Sandeep is doing. I'm
That's the
100%
most.
sure.
This is the most vulgar thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
I saw this documentary yesterday. It was amazing. Like the way they're faking it. I love it. Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for watching, and we'll be back soon.
Chalo.
And see you soon. And bye for now. Be safe. Stay safe in the rains if
Bye.
it's getting flooded in your area. Bye.